What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Dark Previews, and I'm here to give you the most comprehensive NBA player prop for Game 4 of the Dallas Mavericks versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. If it's your first time checking out the channel, I encourage you to subscribe because your boy's getting busy. I do this every single day. I share my screen. We go through Outlier. I take you through all the players, their matchups, their form lines, the odds. We talk about fantasy, the things I like, the things I don't. And I do all this to give you all the information that you need to make the best bets possible. Now, my recent video, we previewed Game 4 of the Boston Celtics versus the Indiana Pacers, shared some leans, shared some bets with you, and boy, did we cash out. On our straight bets, we hit Jaylen Brown over 25.5 bets. We also hit two different parlays. The block party cash. That was the one I was most excited about. We had Derek White over 0.5 blocks and Miles Turner under 1.5 blocks. It's a plus money play and it cashed with ease. Next up, we had the Turner Bitch or Beast parlays, and Miles Turner was a bit of a bitch. We got him for under 12.5 points, under 7.5 rebounds. There's the slip. The proof's in the pudding. Now we're hoping to do the same thing. It's Game 4 of this Minnesota versus Dallas. Pretty keen for this one, I got to tell you. So let's dive in. Before we get into the outline, though, we'll check out NBA.com. We'll go through the box score of the last game, see if we can anticipate how teams are going to adjust and which players we like. And if that sounds interesting, let's go. All right, we're taking a look at the box score of the last game. Dallas, they won 116 to 107. They're up 3-0, looking to sweep the series here at home. Checking the box score for the Minnesota Timberwolves. We had Jaden McDaniels found his shooting touch, scored 15 points, no rebounds, one rebound, no assists, got no blocks, got 5 fouls though, but he did shoot the ball well. We had Karl Anthony Towns, 5 for 18, 0 from 8 from deep, 14 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 assists. So the struggles continue for Mr. Towns. Then we saw Rudy Gobert, only had 28 minutes, 5 fouls, 9 points, 6 boards. We saw Anthony Edwards, did improve his play, 26 points, 9 assists, 9 rebounds, had 5 turnovers in a loss. He played 43 minutes. Mike Conley was great offensively again, 16 points, 4 assists, and 1 rebound. Naz Reid strong off the bench, 14 points off 10 shots. And we also saw Kyle Anderson continue his strong play, finishing on 10 points in his 17 minutes. The Dallas Mavericks, we saw Derek Jones Jr. He made 3 from 3 3-pointers, finishing on 11 points. That's wild. PJ Washington, he had that bounce-back game, 16 points, 8 rebounds for Mr. Washington. Daniel Gafford had 28 minutes, only had 5 points, had 3 blocks, and only 3 boards. Kyrie Irving was excellent. 33 points, 4 assists, and 3 boards. Luka Doncic, 33 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. And then looking at their bench, Derek Lively only played 9 minutes due to an injury. 6 points, 3 boards. Green had 3 points off the bench. Jaden Hardy, 7 points off the bench, so that was a great lean. We saw a little bit of Dwight Powell. He had 7 minutes played. He scored 2 points, both of those free throws, and he managed to grab 2 boards. So thinking about how this game is going to go. Firstly, with the lineups, we've got Luka as a game time decision, but he's going to play. Derek Lively is out. But what's good for the Dallas is Maxi Kleber may play. Now, he's nothing like Derek Lively, but he can shoot the floor, give the Minnesota Timberwolves some troubles with their big men. So it'll be interesting to see if he plays, and if he does, how much time is he going to get. But let's talk about the players. We've reviewed the box score. Who do we think bounces back and in what direction? I think Jaden McDaniels, his point drop seems very scary. Know whether he's going to shoot well, so that's the only concern I have. He'll probably take 6 to 8 shots, but that shot percentage is the biggest question mark. Karl Anthony Towns, 15 shots per day apparently, shooting absolutely terribly. My initial lean is to take the over because he needs to bounce back eventually. But, man, he's been awful. Like, the shot attempts are there. The volume's great. His percentages are just disgusting. Probably lean to the over for a bounce back, but I'm not going to bet his points. His rebounds could be a good look with no Derek Lively. The Dallas Mavericks are going to be even smaller on the inside. Karl Anthony Towns has taken advantage of that quite a few occasions in this series. Rudy Gobert, I'd probably be leaning to an under in this one because if Maxi Kleber plays, you can't have Rudy Gobert out there. And Edwards, we did lean quite well on how he was going to perform. I think his rebounds plus assists is probably going to be a good look, but we'll see how far those lines have moved up. His points prop, I'd probably look at the first quarter points prop, but the total, I'm not too sure where to go with that one. But man looks gassed. Mike Conley points, I think that's a really good look depending on where that line is. I wouldn't mind playing that. His rebounds and assists just be too much. But his points prop, he needs to be aggressive to support Anthony Edwards. Naz Reid, depending on where his line is, his points prop has been money all series. So we'd be looking at him and Kyle Anderson, of course. They're leaving him wide open each and every game. Plays a limited amount of minutes, but he's been covering quite well. So I'd be keen to see where his line is. For the Dallas Mavericks, Derek Jones Jr., I will not be touching his points prop. He got lucky, scoring 11 points off 4 shots. PJ Washington, his points and rebounds could be a good look, especially at home. Daniel Gafford, I have a feeling that with no Lively, his lines are going to move up. I probably wouldn't be too interested in playing any of his if his lines are too high. Kyrie, the points is always a good look, but I'm going to assume his points line has moved up quite a bit. So I'd be a bit concerned about that. Luka, his points prop will interest me because the Timberwolves, they still fancy themselves defending Luka one-on-one, and he's been killing them. The 3 points could be a look for Luka as well. And off the bench, Jaden Hardy, he's only getting a limited number of minutes, but he's aggressive in that. So his points prop could be another lean for me. And then Dwight Powell, I'm just very interested to see how many minutes does he get. He probably gets about 15, but it also depends on Maxi Kleber, but we'll see where his lines are set. So let's jump into Outlier right now. If you did not know, Outlier, you can get a 7-day free trial if you use the link that I have in the video description below. I use it for NBA, MLB, NHL, WNBA, and when the football season's on, I use it for that too. So feel free to check out Outlier 7-day free trial below. Now let's get into it. We'll start with the road team first. And when we start with the road team, we'll start with Anthony Edwards. So we'll go to the big dogs first. Get my big ass ugly head bigger on this screen for you. There it is. Let's kick things off the right way. Anthony Edwards. Okay. His PRA is a bit of an interest here on Outlier. He's hit the under in his PRA in 7 out of his last 10, had 44 in that last game. But I wouldn't be too keen on playing an under in Anthony Edwards, especially in an elimination game. His points props at 26.5 in this series, 19, 21, and 26. So you could argue that he is getting better. His minutes are always going to be there. The volume was there. He did say he was going to take a lot more shots in that last game, which he did. He still managed to go under his points line. So I don't know. Can he be even more aggressive? Is that a possibility? My man is gassing out. He's needing oxygen on the bench. So I wouldn't bet the under, although that's the way that I'd be leaning. Facing elimination, he's got to put up some shots, right? His first quarter points prop could be of interest, though. It's up to 7.5. It was 6.5 in the last one, and I know that because I did bet the over. Could be compelled here to take the over in his first quarter points prop. The main concern that I have with Anthony Edwards is the fatigue. He's looking so tired. Everybody's saying how he shouldn't be defending Kyrie because he's gassing out. When his legs are fresh in the first quarter, he's been playing well. 8, 10, and 9 points. Lines at 7.5 in this one. Facing elimination, I think he's got to be aggressive. I think he knows that too. So don't mind the first quarter points prop for Anthony Edwards. His assist line is at 6.5. He's cashed this in all 3 games, 8, 7, and 9. So Dallas doing a good job getting the ball out of his hands. And I'd probably have to lean to the over in this one. It's a plus money play, 6.5. If you look at his potential assist numbers, 17, 15, and 9 though. So he only had 9 potential assists in that last game. So yeah, I'd probably be a bit hesitant, but definitely leaning to the over. But I'll probably find him leaning to the over in his boards too, because that's also at 6.5 at plus money. He's hit that in 2 out of the 3 games, 11, 5, and 9. Rebound chances sky high in that last game with 17. I think the way that I'd be looking to play it, though, is the rebounds plus assists. 12.5 for Anthony Edwards. So if you play his bets and rebounds, you need 7 of each, which puts you at 14. If you combine the rebounds plus assists, you only need 13. So the odds do get a little bit worse, but it's also the much safer angle, I think, because been eaten on both. He's covered his assist prop in each and every game. I still like the rebounds look here for Anthony Edwards. Elimination, he's going to be aggressive as hell, I would assume. So those are the 2 leans I have. First quarter points, rebounds, and assists overs for Ant Edwards. This zesty man up here, Karl Anthony Towns. Now, what's up with Karl Anthony Towns not sitting on the podium after losses? I've noticed that. He only does the post-game interviews when they win. Outlier's calling out his first quarter assists as an over. 9 of his last 10 he's cashed in. Cashed it in out of 7 games against Dallas. It is minus 145 though, so not something that I want to play, but for you guys out there in the land of DFS, could be a good look for you. His points line's at 19.5 so far in this series, 16, 15, and 14 points for Cat. His minutes have been okay. His field goal attempts have been great, 20, 16, and 18. But check out the percentages, 30, 25, and 28. He's taken a whole lot of threes, and he's not making many. He's only getting worse. Everybody's been saying that he's got to use his size. No one can defend him if he chooses to attack the rack, but he's happy shooting those threes. So, look, based on volume alone and the fact that surely he knows he's got to get to the rim, I'd honestly be leaning to the over here for Karl Anthony Towns. Not something that I want to bet, to be honest, because I dislike this guy. If I take the emotion out of it, I'm leaning to the over on his points prop. I just don't think it's something I'm going to take. His rebounds a good look, 7.5. It is at minus 139, though. So I'd lean to the over, but the odds indicate it's an over. He's gone 7, 7, 11 so far in this series, had 17 rebound chances in that last game. And that's because he did have a lot more minutes. Stayed out of foul trouble, believe it or not. So I'd lean to the over for Karl Anthony Towns, but another one that I really do not want to bet. So look at his assists, 2.5 assists for Cat. He's cashed this in 2 out of the 3 games, finishing 3 assists in his last 2. His potential assist volume, 4 potential assists in all 3 games so far. Another one, I'd lean to the over, but I don't want to bet those odds. So given the lean to the over for everything, his PRA at 30.5 could be a good look. He's getting the rebounds. He's getting the assists. It's just the point side that's letting him down. Realistically, you could just play the points. But for me, I don't want to play anything on Karl Anthony Towns. Next up, who do we have? Naz Reid, because he's been producing like I'd be interested in looking at his points prop, if anything. Let's check it out right here. So his points line, 12.5, disrespectfully low. He's gone 15, 23, and 14 points so far in this series. His minutes have been up in the last 2. Or Cat, they'll find themselves in foul trouble, so Naz is going to get some more run time. And I think just defensively, they're better defensive with Naz Reid out there because of his ability to move his feet. Field goal attempts, 9, 13, and 10. Shooting a pretty good percentage, 56, 62, and 50. So he's been playing quite well. He didn't shoot well from 3 in that last game. He was only 1 from 5, but he did get to the free throw line. So attacking the rack quite well, Naz Reid. So he's definitely someone I'd be leaning to the over in. Been one of their most consistent players so far in this series. So I do like the points look there for him. His assists are at 1.5. Ain't nobody fucking around with a line of 1.5 assists. His rebounds, 3.5. He's cashed that in 1 out of the 3 games. Rebound chances aren't crazy high. And at minus 155, I don't think that's worth a play at all. So I have to pass on that. His 3-point line is at 1.5, but that's minus 135. So again, I found this in the Pacers game, and I'm finding it here in this one. The lines are very sharp, so it's very difficult to find some value in this. It's probably more about getting your bets right than finding value in the lines. Because look, with only 2 games, the odds makers can be sharp as a motherfucker in these ones. So yeah, so that's Naz Reid. Let's quick look at Jaden McDaniels, and I think the only thing you could look at is his points. Inconsistent in producing most things, right? So his points line's at 10.5 in this series, 24 points, then 2, and then 15 points in the last game. He does get a lot of open looks, so the shot volume is not crazy high. So it honestly comes down to whether you think his percentages are going to be there. I think this could be a look. 1.53 pointers. It is a plus money play, plus 165. So the volume is there in this series, 9, 3, and 4. Because if you're banking on him to go over his points line, you're kind of on a lot of 3-pointers because where a lot of his shots are coming from. So I think in terms of value in this series where he's going to be left open, I think there's value there on him making at least 2. He made 3 out of 4 in the last game, so I don't mind the look there to take 2 of them at plus money. So, yeah, the only bet that I'd be looking to take with Jaden McDaniels, but I'll research that a little bit later. We then have Mike Conley. So my initial thought process is that I do like the points. Ant's not producing, Cat's not producing offensively. Mike Conley is actually getting some pretty open looks. So he's covered this line of 12.5. It's a plus money play too in 2 out of the 3 games, 6, 18, and 16. His minutes are consistent, but in the last 2 games, his shot attempts are up 50 and 55. He's 14 and 11, shooting 50 and 55% from the field. A lot of 3-pointers as well, so I'd be interested to see what his 3-point line looks like. I do like the over in his points, though, not going to lie, because he's making a lot of floaters in the lane, and if you're not going to have Derek Lively in there, frees him up a little bit more, to be honest. So I don't mind that look for Mike Conley. His 3-point line is at 2.5. It's also plus money, but I don't love that. So he's cashed that in one of the 3 games this series. The attempts are there, but you really need him to shoot 50% from 3 if he's going to cash this. His assists, 5.5 for Mike Conley. That's also a plus money play, but he's gone under this in 5 straight games now. All 3 games in this series, and he's a potential assist 11, 8, and 7. So definitely a downward trend. So I'd have to lean to the under for Mike Conley assists. We've spoken about how Cat's not shooting well, Ant's not shooting well. How's Mike Conley going to get all these assists, right? If Naz Reid's the only consistent scorer they have. Yeah, I'd probably lean to the under. I don't really want to bet many unders today, but that's definitely how I'd be leaning for Mike Conley. And his rebounds, they're back down to 2.5. He only had 1 rebound in that last game, but this is juice to the gills. Minus 165. I'd probably lean to the over in his boards, but again, that's another play that I'm not overly interested in taking. Next up is my man Slow-Mo Kyle Anderson. So his points line has moved up to 5.5. It was 4. Then it moved up to 4.5. Now it's 5.5. If you check the 3 games in this series, 11, 7, and 10 points for Anderson, 17, 20, and 17 minutes. So he's getting the minutes because he is one of the players who does defend Luka. 5.5 for Kyle Anderson at minus 104. You really just need him to make 3 buckets and some free throws. He's been getting to the line, doesn't shoot many 3-pointers, but they are leaving him open in the mid-range. So the Kyle Anderson over in points, I don't mind running that back. It has maybe a little bit of cash so far in this playoff, so I don't mind that. He should get at least 17 minutes. 7 minutes, and he can get up 5 to 6 shots. I can see him making at least 3 of them, given how easy the looks are. And again, he does attack to the rim very slowly, but he attacks it regardless. And if there's no Lively, they're probably lacking some rim protection, so it might be an easy look there for Kyle Anderson. Next up, who do we have? Rudy Gobert. Now, Rudy, as much as it's not his fault that the Timberwolves are losing, he's somewhat, in a way, has been ineffective in this series. All the things that he's great at, they don't necessarily need. So his points line's at 11.5. He scored 12, 16, 9 points in this series. That last game, 28 minutes, did have foul trouble. Minutes were cut short, but he did only attempt 4 shots in that last game, made 1 free throw. So his points prop, yeah, look, you could find an angle and say Derek Lively's not going to be there, so that makes life a bit easier for Rudy Gobert, but the shot attempts aren't very high. So that, regardless of Lively being in there or not, I don't know if he's going to get the touches. This line at 1.5, this does interest me a little bit. I don't know why. He's cashed it in 2 straight, but just watching the game, he does get the ball at the top of the key, especially if they're getting the ball out of Anthony Edwards' hands. He just has to make the right pass, and then he could get some shots there. So it's a plus money play. I'm not going to bet it because it'll make me feel like a fool if it loses, but I'd lean to the over for Rudy's assists. And this is his rebound prop, 10.5 minus 130 to the over. He's gone for 7, 10, and 6 boards in this series. That last game, his rebound chances were quite low. Yeah, to the over again. So I lent to the under last time, and I didn't take it because his rebound chances are really high. He saw less rebound chances because of foul trouble. But once again, I'd probably lean to the under again. But chances are he gets 20-plus rebound chances if he stays on the court. And again, no Lively. Life could be a little bit easier for Rudy. So, yeah, plays on Rudy, but I do think there's a risk that he bounces back, but I'd be leaning to the under in his points and rebounds. But I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he has a pretty decent game. Gets the minutes and things fall his way, then it could definitely be happening. Next up, we're going to go through the Dallas Mavericks, and we're starting with Luka Doncic. So Luka's points line's at 30.5. He's covered this in all 3 games in the series, 33, 32, and 33 points for Luka. Would lean to the over, given the way that Minnesota are defending him right now. But there's also a chance with no Lively. They might feel a bit more compelled to blitz Luka whenever Dowell's on the court. I'll lean to the over on Luka's points. You can see his attempts, 20-plus attempts in each game. They are trending down, though. 3-pointers made, has been cooking as of late. 5 3-pointers made in his last 2 games. And he's obviously getting to the free throw line. So I'd lean to the over in his points, but I'd be very interested. Is his 3-point line still at 3.5? Yes, it is. So it's 3.5, and it's a plus money play. He's taken 10-plus 3-pointers. So we need 40% shooting from Luka in this game. Has been doing it in his last 2 for plus money. Honestly, the Luka Doncic 3s might be something I'm willing to entertain. So I'll take that down. I do like the 3s a bit more than his points. Let's Let's take a look at his assists. 9.5. It's a plus money play. Only had 5 assists in that last game. So he's gone 8, 13, and 5. Potential assists 13, 18, and 12 potential assists in that last game. 9.5 does seem quite high, but look, he's done it before. I learned my lesson not to take Luka unders. So I've got no interest in the assist play. The man's great. What can you say? So I'm not brave enough to bet the under on that. His rebounds, 9.5. He's hit this in one of the 3 games this series, 6, 10, and 7. I think based on the law of averages, you could say that he's due for a triple-double. Lively means somebody else has to get more rebounds. Luka is probably the most likely player to do that. The rebound chances have been quite low in this series, 11, 12, and 12 rebound chances. But yeah, the line at 9.5, you're probably not going to get great value at the triple-double, to be honest. So those chances aren't high. I'd probably lean to the under, his rebounds and assists. But like I said, not a play that I'm willing to take. Look at his steals and blocks. So that last game, he was excellent. He's covered his steals plus box line in, well, he's gotten a lot of steals, really. 2 out of the 3 games. So even just his steals prop, that's probably at 1.5, minus 104. In his last 10 games, he is averaging 2 steals per game. So, yeah, that could be a good look. I probably lean to the over on that too. I just don't want to bet on a steals market. That's not my style, regardless of how well I think it's going to hit. The box I can probably muck around with a bit more. The steals, I think that requires a different type of research, which I'm not willing to do. Look at Kyrie Irving. So Kyrie been cooking in the 4th quarter. In the first, he's covered this line of 5.5 in 2 out of the last 3. So I'm not interested in touching anything Kyrie related in the first quarter. But his points line hasn't moved too much. It's still at 23.5. I did have that as a lean to the over in the last game. He killed it. I didn't take the bet. For 30, 20, and then 33 points so far in this series. If you look at his volume, 23, 16, and 20. Pretty decent shooting splits in terms of his percentage. Last 2 games, starting to stroke them threes. 4 from 7 in the second game, 3 from 6 in the last game. Throws, believe it or not, getting to the free throw line. It's not something that Kyrie typically does, but in this series, he's been aggressive getting to the line, and he hasn't been shooting that well from the free throw line, to be honest. So 90% free throw shooter, and if he's getting to the line, those are easy points. Like, managed to amass a lot of points in his career, but not shooting free throws. He doesn't milk them whatsoever. Goes for the finesse finish quite a lot. Probably have to lean to the over in the points prop here for Kyrie. Like, what, 14, 12 points or something in the 4th quarter. So you've got that. The fact that he's got free throws, he's making his threes. So what's his 3-point line at? So yeah, so his 3-point line's at 2.5 plus money play. He's cashed it in his last 2. And what I do like about it is the volume's up again. So 6 and 7 attempts. If you just look at what he's done on the season, he averages 7 attempts from downtown this season. Against OKC, he barely got the shots up, but now up against Minnesota, he's starting to get it popping again. So that last game against OKC, when he finally broke out, 4 from 10. First game against Minnesota, 0 from 3. That whole Dallas team didn't shoot many threes in that game, but the last 2, court starting to open up for him. Noticing a lot of screens. Like, the Wolves don't know if they're hedging. They don't know if they're switching. They don't know if they're blitzing. They don't know what's going on. Kyrie can get a screen, and he's wide open for that 3. So leaning to the over on Kyrie 3-pointers as well. So I do like that. The volume is promising. Yeah, like, think throughout the regular season, you'd rarely get Kyrie 2.5 3-pointers at plus money. Let's go. Rebounds, 4.5 for Kyrie. In this series, 5, 4, and 3 boards for him. His rebound chance is actually pretty good, 10, 11, and 9 for someone that you need 5 rebounds for. Probably lean to the over, but again, not a bet that I'm willing to take. In his assists, 4.5 as well for Kyrie, 4, 6, and 4. So the problem is there, his potential assists are not very high. So that I probably lean to the under. Not something I want to bet, but if you're thinking of betting on Kyrie Irving assists, you need to know that his chances, potential assists, they're not very high. So a lot of these assists are actually coming from lobs, and you're losing Derek Lively, so it reduces the lob threat. But at the same time, if Kleber plays, another shooting threat out there. So don't let me talk you off the bridge of Kyrie assists, but I'm not loving it based on the potentials that I'm seeing. Who else we got in this joint? Daniel Gafford. So I'm assuming his lines have moved up based off the Lively news. But let's check it out. Yeah, so his points line's at 11.5 now. My lord. in this series, 10, 16, and 5 points for Daniel Gafford. He saw 28 minutes in that last game. So pretty much that's what Derek Lively would normally play. He's 28 minutes. Gafford probably doesn't see much more than that, to be honest. Probably 30 minutes he'll max out. In that last game, he only had 4 shots, 2 from 4, 1 free throw. So Madden and 1. So I know he's going to get extra minutes, but I'd probably lean to the under in his points. I think that line movement is just too big of a jump to expect that from him. His rebound line, that's at 7.5. That is very high. And this is somebody who doesn't rebound that well, especially if he's contesting a lot of shots. So, yeah, I probably lean to the under in his points plus rebounds. What are we getting here? 19.5 for Daniel Gafford. Right. So he's only cashed the over in 3 of his last 10. In this series, he's gone for 19, 21, and 8 in the last game. The line has moved up. I'd probably lean to the under, but again, I don't want to bet any unders on a game like this. I feel like a jackass when that happens. One thing I would be interested, though, is these blocks. So 2.5 blocks for Daniel Gafford. It's a plus money play. He's cashed in 2 out of the 3 games in this series. 1 block in the first game, 5 in the second, then 3 in that last game. He is going to get extra run time, so there's more opportunities to block shots. Edwards going to be aggressive attacking the rim. So he could get some opportunities that way. Like Daniel Gafford to get these blocks, I don't hate it, to be honest. We don't have a big enough sample size to really take this on. So let's muck around with it. Let's just say in games where he plays at least 28 minutes on the season, yeah, he's this line of blocks in 11 out of 22 games. So a 50% hit rate, a big enough edge for me to want to take it. So I might be a little bit biased in wanting to take that. So yeah, Gafford, I don't love his lines. They're a little bit too high for my liking. I don't know if he's going to get extra production with the extra minutes. Who else do we have? PJ Washington. So interested to see where his lines are at. This 3-point line has caught my interest all series. 1.5, but minus 180. I don't think so. If you can get that on Prize Picks or Chalkboard Dabble, whatever it is, then yeah, pin 3-pointers is a good look. But at those odds, no chance. His points line's at 12.5. He's gone 13, 10, and 16 so far in this series. He's getting a lot of minutes. He's very consistent in the number of shots he takes. Book him in for 10. What it comes down to is his percentages. Is he going to shoot well enough to cover this line? Then look, at home, I'd probably lean to the over here for PJ Washington. Probably some other Dallas role players. 12.5, though. If it was at 11.5, I can probably be compelled to take it. But at 12.5, I don't know. I feel a little bit funny about it. He hasn't finished on 12 points in his last 10 games. But yeah, these numbers do weird things to me. So I'm leaning to the over for PJ Washington. Not a bet I feel too confident in taking, but definitely a lean for sure. His rebound line has moved from 5.5 to 6.5. So it's gone up in this series, 7, 5, and 8 boards for PJ Washington. He's had 13 rebound chances in all 3 games. So I'll probably lean to the over here purely because if we're not going to see Lively, we're going to get a bit more Dwight Powell. We might see Maxi Kleber in this game. Not great rebounders. They'll probably box out and do all that type of shit. But PJ Washington, Luka Doncic, they're probably the ones who can benefit the most from getting some more rebounds. So yeah, I don't mind the rebound prop for PJ Washington, so I'll look into that a little bit further. Who else we got up in his joint? Derek Jones Jr. So I told you I don't want to bet on his points. He only took 4 shots in that last game, so I'd be extremely hesitant, but let's just see what he's been doing. His line's at 9.5. He's gone for 8, 4, and 11 in this series. Full attempts, 9, 5, and 4. So, like, to be honest, I'd probably lean to the under in Derek Jones Jr., but who wants to bet an under on someone who's going to play 33 minutes where the line's at 9.5? Not me. Rebounds, 3.5. He cashed in the first 2. Only had 2 boards in that last game. Only had 4 rebound chances. So, yeah, I'm not a lot of props for Derek Jones Jr. We also have Jaden Hardy getting some minutes, and he's been very aggressive in those minutes. But let's take a look at his points prop. That's the main one I'd be interested in. 5.5 for Hardy. So you need 3 buckets. He has cashed this in 2 out of the 3 games. 2, 8, and 7 points. He's only getting about 10 to 11 minutes. Shots, they're there, but you need 3 unless he's going to make some free throws. So, yeah, probably lean to the over for Jaden Hardy, but, you know, it's easy to the last 2 games is a bit of an overperformance for him. So just because he's hit it in his last 2 doesn't mean I'd be comfortable taking the over for him. Only getting about 2 11 minutes. Dallas probably working their ass off to close this game out. He might even get less minutes, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'd be quite happy to take a look at that. Want to take a look at use an outline now just to see if there's anything I may have missed. So looking at the head-to-head stuff, odds at -130. So you can get Daniel Gafford under 0, so not to get a steal, under 0.5. 90% hit rate his last 10. 3 games against Minnesota, hasn't got a hit, hasn't got a steal. So yeah, 1 steal in the last 10 games. So that could be an interesting look. He's most likely going to block things, right? Like, yeah, it's crazy. So the under, though, check this out. On the season, Daniel Gafford has a 46% rate of not getting a steal. So it's just a very recent form in his last 10 where he's not getting many. So yeah, look, the hit rate is great, but I wouldn't be betting that for any other reason than the hit rate is great over the last 10. So yeah, don't let me turn your arm into wanting to take that. Jaden McDaniels, points for assists, has a good hit rate against them. Wow, it really does. So 10 games against Dallas. His points and assist line's at 11.5. He's cashed this in 8 out of his last 10 games, 2 out of the last 3 games in this series. So he's not getting too many assists. I think you might see similar hit rates. Just look at his points. And yeah, Jaden McDaniels, not a lot of shots. So I'd be a little bit hesitant around that. Kyrie, we've already gone through. Rudy, not overly keen on that. Here's one that I got about. Luka Doncic in the first quarter. How do I miss this? So we took this bet in the last game. It was at 6.5. 7.5 is a plus money play. He's cashed this in 6 of his last 8 games against Minnesota, 7 out of his last 10 games in the playoffs. That last game, he played 12 minutes in the first quarter. And that's what you would normally expect to see from Luka. But his knee's been pretty banged up, so they've been reducing his minutes in the first. If we get another 12 minutes from Luka, I don't mind this play. 7.5 for someone like Luka, your Jason Tatums, whoever, like key scorers, 7.5 is not a bad number to take. Where it does get a little bit dicey for me is when we see 8.5. But at 7.5, it's someone I can muck around with. He's got a 70% hit rate in his last 10. He has a 64% hit rate on the season. He's got a 75% hit rate against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And the 2 games where he didn't cash this line, he finished on 6. So, yeah, Luka over his quarter point prop, that could be a good look too. So, thank you, Outline, for reminding me to look into that. Checking to see if there's anything else with a great hit rate. Let's look at the last 10. Mike Conley's PRA could look at, but it doesn't have a great hit rate against Dallas. Yeah, there's nothing really screaming out to me. There's a Daniel Gafford under in his PRA. I'm not overly excited by that. So we'll see. I'll take another deep dive anyway. And this is why I encourage you guys to sign up to my Winnable. It's completely free. So you don't have to worry about that. The best thing about Winnable is you're going to get notified whenever I place my bets. What the hell happened to my camera? Focus on me. Either way, it might be a little bit blurry. God damn. All right. I'm going to wrap this up so I can edit it and get it out to you. Apologies, a little bit later than I usually do, but I had a basketball game tonight. Got absolutely stomped. What can you do? What I want you to do is put in the code CROSSOVER. CROSSOVER. And I apologize, it is not a code. But write that in the comment section so I know that you made it to this far in the video. Hashtag crossover. Let me know. Support your boy. We're getting close to our 8,000 subscribers. Sign up to that Winnable if I come up with some other parlays you need to be aware of. I'll be sending it all through there. I'll get you some screenshots. And also, if you chop it up, join my Discord. That's completely free to join as well. And we can chat throughout the games. We can get upset at players together. If you want, you can get upset with me in there. I honestly don't mind. But best of luck to you. Gamble responsibly. Let's relax now and go Mavs.
Sub to the channel because your boy's getting busy. Coming to you live from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free. You don't even have to pay me.